Welcome to One-to-One Connect. Today, I am really excited about today's podcast. I've got Kevin Tom. Kevin is our Chief Investment Officer, and Kevin, in addition to the work that he's doing around alternative investments for profit, is also involved in some of the affordable housing initiatives that we are so passionate about. And on that, I am, again, to my immediate left here, I've got Lloyd Beech. Lloyd is the Executive Director for Bethlehem Housing and Support Services, located in St. Catharines. Talk a bit more about that shortly. And Krystal Valencia is the founder of Rental Rescue based in Hamilton. First, I'd just like to say again that the work that we're doing as a credit union, it's very important to us to be a hands-on contributor. We all see it in all the communities that we are living in. Housing is a real crisis right now. And it's our part to step up and try to do what we can to support organizations like Bethlehem and Rental Rescue. So I'm excited today to be able to host today's show all about the affordable housing crisis that's plaguing society. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Tom, my colleague. And maybe Kevin, just again, in your words, sort of help all of us understand what it is that we're doing here at the FirstOntario. And again, what is it that you're so passionate about in terms of the work you're doing with these two ladies?
Well, first of all, I'll just talk about, thank you, Lloyd, for having me here today. I'll talk about alternative investments, actually, and to describe what we do in alternative investments, you've got to take a look at the financial environment over the past decade or even over the past 2 decades where we had continuous margin compression. And because we had margin compression, I would say financial institutions, in particular credit unions, needed to diversify their revenue streams. Not only were they needed to diversify revenue streams, they needed to look at revenues that were not correlated to our core business, hence the birth of alternative investments. So we invest in private real estate, private debt, private equity, and infrastructure. Now, given what the credit union is and how we are community-minded, it made sense for us to look at affordable housing and to carve out part of our portfolio into the affordable housing space. Now, if you take a look at what our purpose is as a credit union, we unite communities for a sustainable future. And we also look at solving some of the problems that our communities have. So therefore, it made absolute sense for us to diversify some of our revenues and some of our capital to the affordable housing space.
So just on that, I mean, obviously, the investments that are made or how we actually are contributing to these projects, we're obviously doing it in a way that we don't have to have the type of profit returns that you're talking about, is how I would assume. Like, we have lending abilities, we have investing abilities, but we're not always saying we have to make big returns as you would in the other parts of your portfolio. And maybe saying it another way is the income that we're earning in some of those profit investments you talk about helps you basically provide the income to support the affordable housing initiative.
Precisely. It does offset the returns that we're getting in the affordable housing space because there's not much returns there because it's mostly investments that is helping the community. It's not really a financial investment.
Okay. So let's turn our attention then to the work that was done together with Pantera Group, FirstOntario, on behalf of Bethlehem Housing Support Services in St. Catharines. So years ago, we embarked on a project. It was to create affordable housing. It's a 9-story building called North Church Court. And Lori and her team obviously have been serving the tenants that are in that building. And maybe you can tell us, Lori, a little bit about just the organization, the issues or challenges that you're facing as an organization that's right in the thick of the affordable housing crisis that's plaguing society today.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, first, thanks very much for having us today because it is such an important topic, and we have a relationship, a partnership that goes way back. And we've been working on this project. We did work on this project for a very long time. It takes a long time, but it also took a while to get it right because we were certainly working in a different situation than we are today. But at that time, we were able to bring the partners together, look at the financial side or financing side of constructing a large building, 127 units, that also includes office space and community space, and a daycare. And so, that was a huge investment. And so, for nonprofits or charities, we certainly cannot do that ourselves. So it was fantastic to come together. And I always like to talk about how amazing you are all at being good partners and working with us. We got on so well, and we were all on the same page all the time. And we created this model together. And it certainly served a purpose. It is continuing to serve a purpose. We opened it in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, which was challenging in itself. But it's continuing to serve a great purpose. And then in the ongoing operations, we are partnering with lots of other service agencies that work with us to support the folks and the families that live in the building. And I can certainly say after these few years, it's working very well. We did have some bumps along the way and challenges, but because of the partnership, because of the support, we were able to overcome all of those challenges and any that we will continue to face. We do it together. We work on it together. So the partnership itself has been a great success, and I highly recommend that anyone embarking on this type of project or work to think about having good partners, such as we were able to have.
In terms of the spirit of partnership, I think it would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge and thank the City of St. Catharines and the municipality of the Niagara region for the work that they did, because again, it took a lot of us to sort of come together, but the folks at the Niagara region and the folks at the City of St. Catharines, thank you for, again, helping us get this project across the line. That's meant a lot. But yeah, absolutely, Laurie. I think the audience certainly would like to understand from your vantage point what the housing crisis means.
It certainly has changed. It's somewhat the same. It's just become much bigger. And the world today, I think it's become far more obvious. But I think there's been a shift in terms of solutions, because the challenges and the problems are becoming much bigger, and they are multifaceted. We are all, as a society, seeing it play out on our streets and in our communities. And so the solutions, for example, it is unfortunate, but I don't see us being able to do the project in duplicate the way we did it before, for a variety of reasons. Today's labor costs, and even Krystal could speak to that because she's involved very much in that side of the financing side. And so projects like that today won't pencil out. The pro formas won't work, and so we have to look at even more creative and more innovative ideas and solutions to be able to provide what we're doing. And of course, we hear all the time, nothing's happening. It's because it's so complex, and the problems are becoming so much more complex. For example, there's a shift in what housing organizations like ours can provide. The local governments, municipalities, and in our case, it's the municipalities in the Niagara region, but it's also a Niagara region proper, that they are not able to, again, support projects like this, where it's just pure development of pure affordable housing. They are shifting to take on the responsibility for more social housing, the deeper affordability, because we are not able to serve that population with incomes that are much, much lower, whereas our organization and organizations like ours have to make the shift to house what I call the missing middle. So the government is really taking on that responsibility of social housing, deeper affordability, because they have to and they need to. And then that also comes with very high intensive case supportive housing. So we are seeing that shift. So in other words, organizations like ours are not necessarily going to be able to house the folks that require rents at deep affordability levels, plus high intensive case supports. So our role is going to shift then to that missing middle or the next level of affordability, and so that requires a whole different shift in what then does that solution look like. And in terms of developing a project, even large scale like we've done before, it's extremely complex and will absolutely require partners like yourselves, partners in the development community and the government partners to come together, even other housing organizations working together to come up with solutions, because right now we just are not able to.
So I'd just like to address the costs actually that Laurie was speaking about, because we did partner on North Church Court, and we did do a pro forma to do another project similar to that project, and the cost was double.
Absolutely.
Like we ran the numbers and the cost was double. And if you look at incomes haven't doubled, it's very difficult to be able to do the financing for such a project.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you, Lloyd, for all the work that you're doing in community and for the organization, the folks that rely on the services that you're providing. I want to give a shout out to Bethlehem runs a Empty Bowls. It's a large fundraising event in March, and we're so proud to be a title sponsor of that event. But I want folks to know that this is your major fundraising event to support the great work that you and your team are doing. And we're so proud again to be able to be a title sponsor and support the work you're doing. And I'm sure it's a frustrating job from time to time, but again, I know that your team are doing great work, and obviously the tenants that are in the building appreciate it. So I'm going to turn it now over to Krystal. Krystal, again, as I mentioned, is the founder of Rental Rescue, an organization that's a not-for-profit organization that's really trying to retain the housing stock from, I guess I'll say, an affordability perspective. So I'm sure you can do better explaining it than I can, but welcome again to our show. And tell us a little bit about Rental Rescue.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. And Rental Rescue is a nonprofit that empowers the nonprofit sector to compete in the current real estate market at market speeds. What we do is we really try to retain the existing affordable housing stock by acquiring at market rates. We retain the affordability and rental rates, and we also try to safeguard the tenants. So by doing that, our model is pretty simple in that we purchase, we scan the market. We've scanned over $350 million of assets to date, and we've identified what the key variables are to make it possible for a nonprofit or for an agency like ours in our partnership to actually bid at the market rates, compete, purchase, own, retain the ownership of the building, ensure financial viability and sustainability of the building, and then ultimately our end goal is to turn over the assets to the nonprofit sector, so that we're really almost buying the nonprofit sector time to do the fundraising, financial due diligence, buy-in from the board, and all of and as well as keeping up with the day-to-day operations of the nonprofit sector. And I guess Rental Rescue was really born out of I used to be a fundraiser for within the nonprofit sector for over a decade. And while I was doing that, I was also the housing development person. And to expect a nonprofit who is, working day in and day out with an overloaded plate to also learn about financing and pro formas and financial viability and sustainability and all of these market terms, it can be really difficult to stack all of those expectations onto and loads onto already almost burnt out teams. So Rental Rescue was born out of my experience of burnout as a fundraiser and a COVID hobby of financial modeling. While everyone else was baking banana bread, I was naturally looking at Excel spreadsheets until 6 a.m, as one does. So we've really been able to learn not just from experience and from the sector's challenges overall, but also the excitement that comes with the opportunity of learning about how we can make the numbers work and how we can create and we can leverage market tools and resources and the skill sets that FirstOntario and the team really brings to support our overall mission in retention of existing housing stock.
Well, again, thank you for that. And obviously, we've done what I would call a test transaction with the 3-story build or apartment building that was purchased in Hamilton. And again, it's only 8 units, but obviously we need to start somewhere. So very happy with that. And as Lori mentioned as well, I mean, we always have to look at creative solutions. And this is, again, is another example, I think, of folks that are coming to the table, let's say, using financial intellect, using, let's say, the power of the credit union, or using, obviously just these new wonderful ideas on how we can retain housing stock in our community that is at an affordable level. So thank you. I think that really brings home what we were hoping to do with today's podcast, is really to bring awareness to a social issue that's plaguing all of us. And here at the credit union, we like to say that we're just one company, and there's other companies out there that can step up and contribute to what's happening in terms of the affordable housing crisis that's plaguing society today. And the great work that Lori and Krystal are doing was, our way of kind of profiling 2 organizations that we're very passionate to be involved with. And we look forward to hearing, more success out of those 2 organizations in the future. So thank you, Kevin, for your contribution today, and Krystal and Lori. Again, it was wonderful to have you contribute to today's show and explain to our audience everything that you folks are doing in this unfortunate affordable housing crisis we face today.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you.